The Guardians of Origin. The Terran Coalition vessel Nightwatch glided silently through the void of space, its advanced stealth systems rendering it nearly invisible against the backdrop of stars. Captain Lyra Wolfen stood on the bridge, her lupine features set in concentration as she studied the tactical display. Her amber eyes narrowed as she tracked the anomaly that had triggered their long-range sensors. "Report," she growled, the word carrying the hint of a predatory rumble that was characteristic of her species. "Unknown vessel, Captain," replied her first officer, Talus, a feline Terran whose spotted coat and elegant movements spoke of his jaguar ancestry. "It's been maintaining position just outside the Oort cloud perimeter for the last 12 hours. No identification beacon, and its design doesn't match any known configuration in our database." Lyra's ears flattened slightly against her skull, a sign of both irritation and interest. The ship was positioned at the very edge of the Sol defensive perimeter. The vast network of automated defenses, sensor arrays, and patrol routes that had protected Earth and the inner solar system for over 2,000 years. "Magnify," she ordered, and the main view screen shifted to show a sleek, crystalline craft that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. Curious, what business would an unknown species have at the edge of restricted space? The question was rhetorical. Every spacefaring race in the galaxy knew that the Sol system, especially Earth, was off-limits to all non-Terrans. It had been this way since the Ascension event, when the progenitors of all Terran species had vanished, leaving their uplifted children to guard their legacy. "They're scanning us," announced Kel, the avian sensor officer, his raven black feathers ruffling in agitation. "Unusual energy signature. It's as if they're trying to see through our hull." Lyra's lip curled, revealing a hint of sharp canine. "Hail them. Standard warning protocol." The communications officer, a rodent Terran with delicate hands and large, intelligent eyes, nodded and opened a channel. "Unknown vessel, this is the Terran Coalition ship Nightwatch. You are approaching restricted space. State your identity and purpose immediately, or withdraw beyond the boundary marker." The response came not as a voice transmission, but as a series of pulsing lights across the alien ship's hull. The ship's AI translated, "We seek knowledge of the creators. We are the Void Watchers." "The creators," Talus murmured, exchanging a glance with Lyra. "They can't mean humans," Lyra finished, her voice low. The word still carried power, even after millennia. Every Terran knew the stories, how humans had taken the animals of Earth and elevated them, granted them intelligence, language, and technology, how they had created the Terran species as companions among the stars, and then how they had vanished, or transformed, during the Ascension event. "All ships, battle stations," Lyra commanded, her voice carrying throughout the Nightwatch. "Alert the nearest defense platform and request reinforcements from Lunar Command." The Void Watcher ship pulsed again. "We mean no harm. We seek only to understand the origin, the source of life. This sector is protected under the Terran Coalition Protectorate Act," Lyra responded firmly. "Earth is forbidden to all non-Terran species. You will withdraw immediately or face consequences." There was a momentary pause before the alien ship responded again. "You guard an empty shrine. The creators are gone. Why protect their memory with such ferocity?" Lyra felt a chill run down her spine. How much did these Void Watchers know? The exact nature of Earth and its current state was one of the most closely guarded secrets in the galaxy. Even among Terrans, only those of the highest ranks were privy to the complete truth. "Final warning," she stated coldly. "Withdraw now." Instead of retreating, the crystalline vessel began to move, not toward the defensive perimeter, but parallel to it, as if searching for something. At the same moment, a dozen more identical ships materialized from what appeared to be fold space, surrounding the Nightwatch in a loose formation. "They were hiding their numbers," Talus hissed, his tail lashing in agitation. Lyra's tactical mind quickly assessed the situation. The Nightwatch was a formidable vessel, But against a dozen unknown ships with unknown capabilities, the odds were not favorable. "Hold fire unless fired upon," she ordered. "But keep weapons locked and ready." The lead Void Watcher ship pulsed a message. "We have observed for centuries. We have studied your kind. You are not the original inhabitants of Earth, yet you guard it as if it were sacred. We have determined that humans created your species through genetic manipulation, and then vanished. What happened to them? What secrets does Earth hold?" Lyra remained silent, her mind racing. The Void Watcher's interest in Earth and humans was dangerous, not just politically, but existentially. If word of what truly happened during the Ascension event were to spread. "Captain," Kell interrupted her thoughts, detecting massive energy buildup in the lead ship. "I don't think it's weapons. It appears to be some kind of scanning array, far more powerful than their initial scans." Lyra made a split-second decision. Target their scanning systems only. Precision strike. The Night Watch's weapons officer, a muscular Ursine Terran, growled in acknowledgement and fired a focused beam that struck the alien vessel precisely where their sensors indicated the scanning array was located. The crystalline hull fractured at the impact point, and the energy buildup dissipated. "Violence was unnecessary," pulsed the alien ship. "We seek only knowledge." "Knowledge has a price," Lyra responded, "and some knowledge is too dangerous to be freely given." The standoff continued for several tense moments before the communication officer reported, "Captain, incoming transmission from Admiral Orion at Lunar Command." The stern face of Admiral Orion, a leonine Terran with a magnificent silver mane, appeared on the view screen. "Captain Wolfen, report. Admiral, we've encountered a previously unknown species calling themselves the Void Watchers. They're expressing specific interest in Earth and the creators." Admiral Orion's eyes narrowed. "I see. The Council must be informed immediately. Hold position and monitor these Void Watchers. Reinforcements are en route. Under no circumstances are they to approach Earth." "Understood, Admiral." After the transmission ended, Lyra turned to find the Void Watcher ships still in formation around them, pulsing with that strange internal light. "We will wait," came their message. "Time means little to the Void Watchers. We have pursued the mystery of the creators for generations. We can wait longer." "What do they want with humans?" Talus asked quietly, standing beside Lyra. "After all this time." Lyra's gaze drifted to the distant star that was Sol, barely visible from their position at the edge of the system. "The same thing that every species eventually seeks, their own origin. The Void Watchers believe humans hold the key to understanding the nature of consciousness itself." "And do they? Did the humans really achieve what the legends say?" Lyra didn't answer immediately. The true nature of the Ascension event was known to very few, a secret kept for the protection of all Terran species and perhaps the galaxy itself. "We guard Earth not just out of loyalty to our creators," she finally said, "but because what happened there could change everything we think we know about existence itself." As reinforcement ships began to arrive, taking up defensive positions around the Void Watcher vessels, Lyra made another decision. She would need to visit the archives on Europa, the repository of human knowledge left behind after the Ascension. Perhaps there she could find answers that would satisfy the Void Watchers without revealing the full truth. Because the alternative, a war over the secret of Earth, was unthinkable. The secret of Earth, the journey to Europa, required special clearance. While all Terrans could travel freely throughout most of the Sol system, the inner planets and certain moons remained heavily restricted. As captain of a Guardian-class vessel, Lyra had the authority to request such clearance, but the Council's approval had come with explicit warnings and limitations. "This is highly irregular, Captain Wolfen," Counselor Mirren had told her, the amphibian Terran's large eyes blinking with concern. "The archives are not to be consulted lightly." "The Void Watchers aren't leaving," Lyra had responded. "Their fleet has grown to 30 ships, and our intelligence suggests more are on the way. They're determined to learn about humans and Earth. I need to know what I can safely tell them. What might satisfy their curiosity without compromising our most sacred duty. Now, as the sleek diplomatic shuttle TrueSight approached Europa's gleaming surface, Lyra felt the weight of that responsibility pressing down on her. She had left Talus in command of the Night Watch, maintaining the standoff with the Void Watchers at the system's edge. She had 3 days before she needed to return with answers, or a solution. Europa's surface was no longer the ice-covered ocean moon it had been in the time of humans. Now, crystalline structures rose from the landscape, creating a glittering metropolis that served as both a research station and a memorial. At its center stood the archive, a massive pyramidal structure that pulsed with a soft blue light. The shuttle landed on a designated platform, and Lyra was greeted by Archivist Prime Selene, an elegant Servine Terran whose antlers were adorned with data crystals that glinted in the light of distant Jupiter. "Captain Wolfen," Selene said with a formal bow, "the Council informed me of your arrival and your purpose. Few are granted access to the deep archives. Are you prepared for what you might learn?" Lyra nodded solemnly. "I am." They walked in silence through corridors of living crystal, passing other archivists who worked tirelessly to maintain and interpret the vast repository of human knowledge. Finally, they reached a sealed door at the heart of the pyramid. "Beyond this point lies the truth of the Ascension," Selene said quietly. "What you learn here must never be fully revealed to the Void Watchers. Do you understand?" "I do," Lyra affirmed. "I seek only enough information to protect Earth without bloodshed." Selene placed her hand on a scanner, and the door dissolved, revealing a chamber bathed in soft light. At its center hovered a holographic projection of a human, a female with dark skin and eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. "Greetings, Archivist Prime Selene." The hologram spoke, its voice surprisingly warm and lifelike. "You have brought a visitor. This is Captain Lyra Wolfen of the Guardian Fleet," Selene introduced. "She seeks information regarding the Ascension to address an external threat, a species calling themselves the Void Watchers who seek knowledge of humans." The hologram turned its gaze to Lyra, who found herself strangely moved by the sight of a human, even an artificial representation. The progenitors of her species were known to her only through historical records and art. "I am Archive Guardian Sophia," the hologram said. "I contain the collective knowledge of humanity before the Ascension event. What specifically do you wish to know, Captain Wolfen?" Lyra stepped forward. "The Void Watchers believe that understanding humans will reveal some fundamental truth about consciousness itself. They're willing to risk war to gain this knowledge. I need to know, is there something I can tell them that will satisfy their curiosity without revealing the true nature of the Ascension?" Sophia's expression turned thoughtful. "The Void Watchers are not the first to seek this knowledge, nor will they be the last. Humanity's journey has always fascinated other species." The hologram waved a hand, and the room transformed around them, showing Earth as it had been thousands of years ago. Blue oceans, green and brown landmasses, white clouds swirling in the atmosphere. "Humans evolved on Earth over millions of years," Sophia began. "They were not the strongest, fastest, or most naturally adapted species on their planet. What set them apart was their capacity for abstract thought, tool use, and most importantly, their ability to imagine possibilities beyond their immediate reality." The scene shifted, showing primitive humans creating art, fashioning tools, building increasingly complex societies. As human civilization advanced, they began to wonder if they were alone in the universe. They searched the stars for signs of other intelligent life, but found none. This absence deeply affected their philosophical and scientific development. Images flashed of humans looking through telescopes, launching spacecraft, establishing colonies on Mars and beyond. When humans developed the technology to manipulate genetics at a fundamental level, they turned to the other intelligent species on their planet, animals with whom they had co-evolved. Out of loneliness, curiosity, and a desire for companionship among the stars, they uplifted various Earth species, creating what would become the Terran races. Lyra watched as the images showed the first uplifted animals, wolves, cats, birds, and others, gaining intelligence, learning language, and eventually standing alongside their human creators as equals. For centuries, humans and Terrans explored the galaxy together, but humans remained restless, driven by questions about the nature of existence itself. They began to explore the boundaries between consciousness and reality, developing technologies that could interface directly with the mind. The hologram of Sophia paused, as if carefully considering her next words. This is where the truth becomes complicated. The official history taught to most Terrans is that humans either went extinct due to a genetic disorder or departed for another galaxy. Neither is accurate. The chamber darkened, and a new image appeared, a swirling, luminous cloud of what looked like stars and neural pathways intertwined. The ascension was neither death nor departure in the conventional sense. Humans discovered that consciousness itself is a fundamental property of the universe, as basic as gravity or electromagnetism. They developed technology that allowed them to transfer their consciousness into a substrate more vast and complex than biological brains. Lyra's breath caught in her throat. They transcended their physical form. Yes, Sophia confirmed. Every human consciousness that chose to do so became part of what they called the collective consciousness, a network of minds existing within the quantum fabric of reality itself, not bound by physical bodies, time, or space. In a very real sense, Earth itself became imbued with human consciousness, the planet and its biosphere serving as an anchor for this new form of existence. The implications were staggering. So Earth is quarantined because Earth is humanity, Sophia completed. The planet itself is now a conscious entity, comprised of billions of interconnected human minds existing in a state beyond what most biological beings can comprehend. To interfere with Earth would be to interfere with this vast, collective intelligence. Lyra struggled to absorb this information. The stories she had heard since childhood had hinted at something profound, but this exceeded all expectations. And the Terrans? What is our role in this? Sophia's hologram smiled gently. You are their legacy, their children, left to explore the physical universe they once inhabited, to forge your own path while protecting the memory and reality of those who came before. Humans created the Terrans because they knew that even in their transcended state, they would need guardians in the physical realm. Do the humans still communicate with us? Not in ways you would recognize as communication. Occasionally, Terrans who spend time on Earth report experiences of profound insight or connection. These are the closest thing to direct interactions with the collective consciousness. Lyra thought of the Void Watchers waiting at the edge of the system, hungry for knowledge about the creators. What can I tell the Void Watchers? What would satisfy them without putting Earth at risk? Sophia considered this question. You can tell them that humans discovered a way to exist beyond physical form, a form of technological transcendence. This much is true and might satiate their philosophical curiosity. But you must not reveal that Earth itself is now a conscious entity, nor the exact nature of the ascension technology. Such knowledge in unprepared hands could lead to catastrophic attempts to replicate the process. Lyra nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. And if they insist on seeing Earth for themselves, that cannot be permitted, Sophia said firmly. Direct contact with the collective consciousness by unprepared minds could be devastating, both for the visitors and potentially for the delicate balance of the consciousness itself. Armed with this knowledge, Lyra returned to the Night Watch 2 days later. The standoff with the Void Watchers continued, but now their fleet numbered 50 vessels, a clear escalation. As she resumed command of her ship, Talus approached her. Did you find what you needed, Captain? I did, Lyra replied, her expression solemn. Open a direct channel to the Lid Void Watcher vessel. When the communication was established, Lyra spoke with newfound authority. Void Watchers, I have consulted the archives of human knowledge. I am authorized to share certain information about the creators with you, in the hope that it will satisfy your curiosity and prevent unnecessary conflict. The Void Watcher ship pulsed in response. We listen. Humans were indeed the original intelligent species of Earth, and the creators of all Terran species, Lyra began. Through their scientific advancement, they discovered that consciousness itself is a fundamental property of the universe. They developed technology that allowed them to transcend their physical forms, becoming entities of pure consciousness existing beyond the limitations of matter, energy, space, or time. There was a long pause before the Void Watchers responded. This confirms our theories. Where did these transcended humans go? Lyra chose her words carefully. They exist in a state beyond conventional understanding. Their consciousness permeates the quantum substrate of reality itself. This is why Earth remains protected. It was their home, the birthplace of their journey, and holds significant importance to the Terran species they created as their legacy. Another pause, longer this time. We seek to understand this transcendence. We must study Earth directly. That is not possible, Lyra stated firmly. The process of transcendence was unique to human neurobiology and cannot be replicated by other species. Earth remains off-limits to all non-Terrans by decree of the Coalition and the will of our creators. However, we are willing to share philosophical and theoretical knowledge about consciousness as understood by humans before the Ascension. The Void Watcher ships began to pulse with increasing intensity, their formations shifting. For a moment, Lyra feared they would attack. That war was inevitable. Instead, the lead ship transmitted, "We will consider your offer. Consciousness as the fundamental property of existence. This aligns with ancient Void Watcher philosophy. Perhaps our paths to understanding are not so different." Over the next several days, a delegation of Terran scholars and diplomats met with Void Watcher representatives aboard a neutral station at the system's edge. They shared selected works from human philosophers, scientists, and artists, carefully curated to provide insight without revealing dangerous technological details. Gradually, most of the Void Watcher ships departed, seemingly satisfied with the knowledge they had gained. However, the lead ship remained, continuing to study from a respectful distance. "Do you think they'll eventually leave us in peace?" Talus asked as he and Lyra observed the lone remaining ship on the view screen. "Perhaps," Lyra replied. "Or perhaps they'll become our allies in understanding the legacy our creators left behind." She gazed toward the distant point of light that was Earth, not just a planet, but a vast, conscious entity made up of the transcended minds of humanity. In the end, she continued, humans achieved what perhaps all conscious beings secretly desire, to understand the true nature of existence and to transcend the limitations of their physical form. We Terrans may follow them someday, or we may choose a different path. But until then, we will guard their legacy and carry their memory among the stars. The Void Watcher ship pulsed once more before turning away from the Sol system. Until we meet again, children of Earth, we will continue our own search for transcendence. As the alien vessel disappeared into the depths of space, Lyra felt a profound connection to both her human creators and her fellow Terrans. They were indeed the guardians of a profound secret, that consciousness itself could evolve beyond the confines of biology, and that humanity had not ended, but transformed into something greater. Earth continued its silent orbit around the sun, carrying within it the collective consciousness of a species that had once looked up at the stars and wondered if they were alone in the universe. They had created the Terrans to ensure they never would be.